What if I told you the biggest revelation in episode 3 isn't that Agent Kim is being haunted by North Korea? It isn't that South Korea is tracking his every move. And it isn't even about the fake 66. I think the most heartbreaking discovery happens when Mr. Kim realizes something that had been right in front of him all along. When she wasn't hiding a secret life, she barely had one. Today I want to talk about why episode 3 isn't really about spies. It's about a father discovering how lonely his daughter had become while the entire world was watching him. Welcome back to TeaHouse Dives. The episode begins by taking us back 5 months. At first, it feels like a simple flashback. I mean, she wants a new phone because everyone else has nicer ones. Her dad doesn't understand why it matters. Their conversation is honestly as adorable. She dramatically places her phone on the table. He quietly places his old flip phone beside it. Without saying anything, he wins the argument. It's funny, it's sweet, and it perfectly shows the gap between them. He's trying to be a good father. He's just completely out of touch with what being a teenager feels like. The next day, he surprises her with a brand new phone. And then he gives her the pink fuzzy heart charm. It isn't trendy. It probably isn't what a teenager would have picked, but it's exactly the kind of gift a father chooses when he's trying his best. That little pink heart becomes one of the most important symbols in the episode. Later, it becomes a clue that leads Mr. Kim through the criminal underworld. Something that once represented love now represents fear. When Mr. Kim finally locates Minji's phone, something unexpected happens. The gangster jokes that there aren't even any interesting pictures on it, just a few ordinary photos. Then he checks her contacts. Only one person, Dad. That moment absolutely broke me. Mr. Kim suddenly realizes something. He thought Minchi spent weekends with friends. He thought she had people she could rely on. He thought her silence was just part of growing up. Instead, she was alone. The episode quietly reminds us of moments from earlier episodes when he encourages her to go out with friends, when she stayed in her room, when she tried to tell him about the bullying. He heard her words, but he never understood how isolated she truly was. And I think that's the real emotional climax of episode 3. Not a fight scene, not a gunfight, a father realizing he missed his daughter's pain. Another huge reveal completely changes how we look at the series. Mr. M, the owner of the dry cleaner who lives below Mr. Kim. He's actually a South Korean special agent. Then we learn about Mr. Kim's friendly coworker at the bank. She's also an SMT agent. Suddenly, every conversation we watch takes on a different meaning. Mr. M wasn't simply checking on his injured neighbor. He was observing Agent 66. Saya wasn't just helping a single father buy a birthday gift. She was watching one of the most dangerous men alive. And yet, neither of them treats him like a monster. They spend years watching him become something unexpected. Not a weapon, a father. I love this reveal because it changes everything retroactively. Mr. Kim thought he had escaped his old life, but he was never truly alone. His peaceful life wasn't accidental, it was being watched every single day. One thing I absolutely loved in this episode is how it treats these former operatives, his two friends. Years ago, these men were legends. Now, one runs a Taekwondo studio. The other one spent the night in jail after a fight. One works at a bank. The frying pan scene is funny. He confidently says a bullet won't go through it, then immediately discovers he was very wrong. It's funny, but it's also is symbolic. These men still have incredible instincts. Their muscle memory hasn't disappeared, but they've been away from the battlefield for years. They're a little rusty, and somehow that makes them feel even more human. This episode quietly reveals that almost every important adult is living two lives. Mr. Kim is Agent 66. Mr. M is secretly an intelligence officer. Sanga is secretly an intelligence officer as well. And Gasung enters South Korea pretending to be someone else. The chairman presents himself as a respectable businessman while still behaving like the gang leader he once was. Almost everyone is hiding behind another identity, except Minchi. She never had a secret identity. She was exactly who she appeared to be, a lonely teenager asking for help. Ironically, she's the most honest person in the entire episode. The episode ends with one sentence. Here you are, fake 66. That line completely changes the direction of the drama. Until now, Mr. Kim has been fighting to rescue his daughter. Now someone arrives carrying years of resentment. To Gang Sung, this isn't about Min Shi. It's about restoring his brother's honor. He's not hunting a father. He's hunting the man who stole the title of number 66. The rescue mission just became an international conflict built on history, loyalty, and revenge. This episode gives us fantastic action. It expands the world, it introduces new players, but I don't think that's what makes it unforgettable. The image that stayed with me wasn't a fight. It wasn't Agent Kim taking down another room full of gangsters. It was one lonely phone, one contact, Dad. Because by the time Mr. Kim finally understood how alone Minchi had been, she was already gone. And that's what makes this episode so devastating. If you enjoy this deep dive and want to keep exploring the symbolism, themes, and character psychology behind Agent Kim Reactivated, make sure to subscribe to TeaHouse Dives. I would also love to hear your thoughts. What was the biggest reveal for you in episode 3? I'll see you next time for episode 4, where I have a feeling this rescue mission is only going to get more intense.